Hey guys, I've been struggling with feeling lonely and not feeling changed. And this is a lot of things and a lot of problems most Christians deal with is not feeling the change they were promised. And I'm going to remind you that that's not how that works. Feeling lies to us. A man feels something when he sees a woman. If she's beautiful or if she's gorgeous, it doesn't really matter. He feels something when he sees her. It doesn't matter if she's good or bad. That's feeling. That's also desire. It's a liar. It tells us lies about God's commitments and God's promises to us. If it doesn't line up with what our desire wants, it will make excuses on why it won't come to pass because we want it now, or we want it to happen in a certain specific way or route. And while I struggle with this, God reminds me to hold on to that promise and hope and faith. And it's hard, but I'm going to give you the dream in which it was held. And the dream, I'm going to call it renewal after a time of darkness. So in this dream, I'm going to sum it up. There's a great darkness that's going around. And I was trying to do everything in my power to strengthen and change. I was trying to change people and I was trying to change me. And it didn't work. Nothing I did changed. Nothing I did to help people changed. And I was a child in this dream. Nothing I did changed. And it was getting darker and darker. And like a filter on the screen was a red, bloody filter. Well, it was not my timing. I didn't choose. And so let's say 4 days in the dream passed. And this was over a 6-day period. If I wanted the change to happen on day 1, it was like 4 days. But in the dream, I'm given a time frame because it was like 60 years in the dream. It was a long time. It was long. I saw everybody else changing in this dream. I saw everybody else working through their issues. I saw everybody else getting to places they wanted to be. But I was still helping people to try to get to God, even though all of that darkness was there. And eventually, Jesus came into the picture. And he did show up. And he held me in his hand. Now imagine a massive giant. This was Jesus. And when he held me in his hand, I was the size of a golf ball. And what happened was amazing. The screen went from bloody black and dark to immense light. And that's what the renewal was. It was because of Jesus. It was at Jesus' timing, not mine. It was in Jesus' time frame. Like I said, at the beginning of the dream, I did everything. And when Jesus touched me, all he did was hold me. And I felt content. I've never felt content in my life. From where I came from in my background, and most of you probably feel like this, you don't ever feel content. And you don't know why. You want to feel content and joyful with the things you were given. You want to be happy, but you struggle so much with it. It's one of the hardest battles you face, is contentment. And I get it. I understand. But you got to realize it's Jesus that brings that. Without Jesus, you won't have it. And when Jesus held me in his hand, my whole life changed. It wasn't that the pain went away. It wasn't that the stuff disappeared like I originally thought at the beginning of the dream. It just faded away. Because when I looked at Jesus as the golf ball, there was 2 different views. There's my view, like I'm looking at the camera right now, and this was the Jesus view because I was the phone and the camera, so I saw me as the golf ball. And then when I flipped from your point of view, I saw Jesus's face. And there was those two different views. When I was looking at the golf ball from Jesus's eyes, I saw myself as small, tiny, but loved and beloved. But when I looked the other way, I saw Jesus. But if I glanced to the left or to the right, I saw darkness to try to creep in. You see, my focus was in the dream was on God, and my renewal came from that. My renewal came from Jesus. The change came, and at the end of the dream, my life changed. It took time for me to mature, probably another 60 years in this time frame. So two different sets. For a time I was in darkness, and for a time I had to mature. But in the maturity, as I grew, it wasn't when I became mature, is as I grew in maturity. As I stumbled and fell, I grew in maturity. And then I became and grew to do the thing that God called me to do. And you're going to laugh because I am a child at heart. So the dream he showed me that I was doing what he wanted me to do. I was carrying a power vacuum with a flashlight that was powered by Jesus. But the point I'm getting at is you can only do your calling not when you're mature. We get that a little messed up. It's when Jesus says you start it. It's when God says, okay, I'm going to guide you. You see, when I did the keys video, I wasn't saying you can't drive the car. What I was saying was allow God to tell you when to drive the car. Allow God to teach you and guide you so he can tell you and discern for you and teach you how to listen to him and the Spirit. You see, some people are very immature, but they have positions of power and authority that are actually given by God because they have allowed God to teach them and guide them and show them how to start growing in maturity, which is a form of maturity, actually, in the Spirit. But when you start doing it, taking it for yourself, you won't. So, there will for you guys too. There's going to be a great time of darkness in your life. Time frame? I don't know. I don't know if this is going to happen right now. I don't know what this is. But everyone has to go through a period of darkness. And then when they allow Jesus and they accept Jesus and they receive Jesus into their heart, then that renewal comes. Then that change comes. Then it was almost like frostbite of love came and froze me in place. And all I could do was just be in awe in the dream. That can happen to you. Your darkness is going to turn into renewal. Your life is going to change. Don't keep holding on to the darkness and the past and the things that haven't. Things are going to change for you. Just keep holding on to that hope and that promise he gave. Because God is faithful, even when we're not. Well, I gotta get going. I got work this morning. I hope you guys have a good day.